We are live. Is this still recording? It is recording.
Wait, how come it's still frozen on my screen?
Oh no.
It's frozen on yours too.
It's frozen.
Yours is frozen.
Why is it frozen? What's wrong with the camera? Hold on. No, this is right. Wait, it says USB connected. This one's not frozen. Sorry guys, technical difficulties here. Hold on. Reconnect device. Please. Oh my god.
What happened?
I have no idea.
What's going on?
Oh my goodness. Reconnect devices. Oh no. Why is this happening? I'm gonna try this.
That's so strange.
Oh gosh.
Oopsies.
What is going on?
Of course. It's still live, right?
Yeah, it's live. They can see this.
That's so... I don't understand.
It's literally never happened before. So that says waiting for USB. So that usually means I click on camera 1 here. I select the iOS device. That guy, reconnect. Ah!
Oh.
We're live for real. We have both camera feeds.
That was slightly concerning. Okay. Well, we'll pass that. Alright, hi guys. Thanks for joining today. We're going to work on back bends today. Back bends are just like twists. They're very cleansing for the body. They're really great for your spinal health. But it's definitely something that we're going to approach. My screen is frozen again.
What? What is wrong with this thing?
Can someone comment if it's freezing for you or
Yeah,
if it's
it has
just
to
for
be.
us?
But for some reason this says... It's my phone.
Olivia, is it frozen?
It's my phone for some reason. What is going on with this thing?
Oh, and there's lag too.
Is there?
Oh, Pete says it's freezing.
Yeah. Well, now it's definitely freezing since I disconnected it. What's up, Pete?
Hey, Pete. Ready for some back bends today?
We may have to use the crappy,
I might have to use Yanni's phone camera, guys.
the 6S. Why? Why is it doing that?
Now Yanni's gonna be obsessed over this technical difficulty for the rest of the stream. Oh no, we got 3 people.
We may have to...
Do it from the baby camera?
Yeah, we may have to.
Okay. Billy Rivera. Who's that? Hi.
How's Aiden? What's up, Aiden? Oh yeah, he promised.
Aiden!
He promised to.
Do you remember me now, Aiden? Do you forget me already?
There's no device here. Why is there no device? Oh, it's the stupid app. Alright, we're gonna have to stream from the other one.
Okay, no worries.
We're gonna have to go here. Then we'll actually wait. I have one more trick up my sleeve.
Okay. Better be a magic trick.
One more trick. Still gonna be a one camera thing.
Oh, Cora's here. Is that Dave?
Yeah.
Hi, Dave. Oh, now we're good.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm using the other app, the one that I usually use for this. Now this one can't connect though.
Oh, okay. So
Once again.
Yanni gets out of another. Yanni gets out of his.
What is going on? It's like a.
Yeah. Last week his camera wasn't working.
And I got out of being on camera now once again.
Don't worry, I'll let you know how he's doing.
All right, we're gonna get started for real now.
All right, so as I was saying, back bending is really great for your spinal health. However, we want to approach it carefully because we don't want to accidentally mess up our backs. So deep back bend should only be done after your back is warm and in a room that's at least room temperature. So if you're like in a basement or somewhere that's a little chilly, it would be best if you could be in at least room temperature. We're gonna be focusing on mini back bends as we're moving quickly to warm up our back. And then later into the hour, we'll hold the back bends. By no means should you force your back to bend farther than it wants to go. If this is your first time back bending in a long time, you might feel a little tightness in your low back the next day. That's okay. That's a good thing. But all in all, just be patient and kind to your back, and don't take everything very slowly. Don't try to push yourself, especially if it's your first time back bending in a while. So with that said, hands on the knees, and we'll take a baby back bend forward, chest up, chin up. Exhale, chin to chest, round your back, and continue at your own pace. Inhaling forward, exhaling on the rounding. Just going at a rhythm that's comfortable for you. And because we're going to be doing so many back bends today, we'll also be doing a lot of forward bending to counter the back bend. Back bend should always be followed up with a nice forward stretch to decompress the spine.
I'm annoyed about this camera thing.
I know, I told you guys he's going to be thinking about it through the whole class though.
Now my back bends are going to be affected.
Yes. Two more. One more. Good. Interlace your hands behind your back, elbows straight, roll your shoulders back, puff up your chest for a baby back bend here. Deep breaths in through your nose. One more deep breath. And relax the hands forward, coming up to all fours. Okay, so hands right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. Just some cat-cows here. Really want to warm the back up today. Coordinating your breath with the movement. Good. Really squeezing the belly as you crunch. And give me two more good ones. And bring it back to center. Good. Right leg goes back behind you, nice and long. Left arm forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Get a baby back bend here. And go nice and slow at your own pace. Exhaling on the crunch. Inhaling as you extend. Good. Two more. And hold it out, arm extended. Bend your back knee. Reach the hand around. See if you can touch your ankle. Maybe you can hold on to the ankle. If you can hold on to your ankle, go ahead and kick the heel up. Just getting a slight back bend here. One more deep breath. Very slowly lower the knee. And we'll switch opposite hand forward, leg back. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend up. Good, keep going. Two more. One more. Good, hold it out. Bend the back knee. See if you can touch. Maybe you can grab. Kick the heel up. Opening up your chest. One more deep breath. Very carefully lower the knee. Hands forward, tuck your toes. Walk your hands forward a little bit for down dog and just pedal out your heels. Good, pushing the heels towards the floor. Step or jump forward and relax your head down. Shake your head yes and no. Grab opposite elbows and just frame your head and sway from side to side, just giving a little rock. Good, slowly rolling up. Okay, so as we warm up with sun salutations today, we'll add a baby back bend to the sun salutation. I'm just going to show you from the side real quick. When you do the back bend, it's important to know that the bend should not come from your low back or your sacrum. If you feel scrunching in your low back, you're actually inhibiting the back bend. Think of the back bend coming from the rib cage. So when we do our usual hands together, think about lifting your rib cage up and then back. Your hips should be pushing forward to counter that movement. Okay, and it's nothing crazy, it's just a baby back bend to warm us up. All right, so feet together, inhale, palms together, look at your thumb, lift your rib cage up, push your hips forward and lean back, relax your neck. Exhale, fold down. Step or jump back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Retuck the toes, downward facing dog. Again, step or jump forward. Inhale, arms up, relax the head all the way back, push your hips forward. Exhale, all the way down. Step or jump back to plank. Elbows in close as you lower down. Lifting the chest, space between the ears and the shoulders. Retuck, downward facing dog. Again, stepping forward. Inhale, baby back bend. Exhale, forward. Step or jump back. Lowering down. Lifting the chest. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Step or jump forward. Inhale, baby back bend. Relaxing the head back, pushing the hips forward. Exhale, fold. Step or jump back. Lowering down. This time you can choose either your baby cobra, which would have bent elbows, your hips are on the floor, or straighten the arms. Hips are lifted. So notice that my hips are just hovering off the floor here. Good, downward facing dog. Again, jumping forward. Palms together, leaning back, nothing crazy. Exhale, forward. Step or jump back. Lowering into your up dog. Levitating the hips here. Downward facing dog. Step or jump forward, and this time we're going to hold the forward fold for 5 deep breaths. One more deep breath here. And then very slowly rolling up to stand. All right, now that our back's a little bit warmed up, we'll hold the standing back bend. So same principle. I want your feet about hips width apart, and you want to think about pushing your hips so they're over the ankles at least. When you look up, think of making a little pillow with your traps for your head. If you're trying to suspend your head midair, you're gonna have neck discomfort. And we're gonna hold for 5 long deep breaths. All right, so inhale the arms up, plant through your feet and lift up nice and tall. Relax your head all the way back, push your hips forward. Bending from the rib cage, looking at the thumbs, deep breaths here. Keep lifting up through the rib cage. If you feel your low back scrunching, lift the rib cage up. Exhale, chin to chest. Relax your head down. 5 deep breaths. Good. Bend your knees, hands to the floor. Step back to plank. Lowering all the way to the floor. This time we're keeping the hips on the floor. Lifting up with a micro bend in the elbows, but pretty much straight. Holding here. Keep the neck nice and long. And then turn your head to the left. Look over your shoulder. And switch. Good, bending the knees right into child's pose. Relaxing your head down towards the floor, hips back towards the heels. You can tense your fingers or just relax them. One more deep breath here. And then go ahead and tuck your toes and lift back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg all the way up. Stretch it up nice and high. Then bend your right knee. Slowly begin to turn your hips so that the knee is facing the ceiling. We're just going to get a little bit of a back bend here. One more deep breath. Good. Square your hips, foot to the floor, floating into plank, lowering down. Inhale, lift. Look over one shoulder. And then switch. Back to child's pose. Just letting your spine decompress. One more deep breath here. Good, tucking your toes, hips coming up. This is called the down dog scorpion, so we'll do that on the other side. Left leg all the way up, bend the knee, and then open the hips so the knee's facing the ceiling. You might feel this in the hip flexor a little bit. One more deep breath. And then square the hips, foot to the floor. Bring your knees together this time in child's pose and the arms alongside the hips. Deep breaths into the back. horse position. Widen your knees back out so that they're hips width apart. And we're going to take a similar back bend, except with the same ankle now. So in the beginning, we did the opposite ankle. So if you extend your left ankle, bend at the knee. You can, actually, I forgot to tell you, you should flex your toes down and see if you can reach. So this requires a little more balance. If you're having trouble, something that you can do is turn your toes out sort of perpendicular to your knee and then kick up. So you'll feel this in your shoulder. Think about kicking up and away. One more deep breath. Bringing the knee back down, release the ankle. So if you're on a hardwood floor with a mat, that might be a little bit much on your knees. You can fold the mat to create a little cushion for your knee if that's bothering you. All right, so second side, again, I want to tuck my toes, and then if I need extra stability, just scoosh your toes out to the side a little bit. And then you can stack your hips first if that helps as you bend the knee and reach for the ankle. Kick the foot up and away. Deep breaths here, your chest is open. Oops. And then lower the knee. Bring the knees together, back to child's pose. You can take any arm variation you like. Anytime.
Don't worry if the screen freezes on this side.
Yeah, it is freezing.
Hello, can I help you?
Good. One more breath here. And then we'll come right back up to all fours. This time, step your right foot in between the hands, and we'll get a little hip stretch here. Just loosening up that front hip.
Oh yeah, we don't need this.
And then one hand at a time, we'll make our way up into a little back bend here. So same thing, as much as we want to sink the lower back down with the front hips, we also want to lift from the rib cage. So think about a dual action. You're being split apart. The bottom half of your body is sinking low, and the upper half of your body is lifting up as you lean back. And the more of a back bend you have here, the more intense this front hip stretch is going to be.
Yeah, hip flexor is very important stretch for jiu-jitsu, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's usually the cause for back pain, so.
Yeah, if you didn't know, your hip flexor connects to your low back through your pelvis, so it attaches to your quad, your thigh, and then it attaches in your low back. So if that's tight, your low back is also probably tight. Go ahead and bring your fingers down, and we'll take a little runner stretch here just to counter that back bend. Relax your head down. And then on your next breath, we're going to do the same stretches, but from the high lunge. So rebend your knee, tuck your back toes, make sure that your heel is lifted, and then one palm at a time will come up to the knee, lift your chest, push the hip. And then you can stay here, maybe one arm can come up, maybe both. You can bring the hands to touch, whatever's comfortable, and we're just trying to increase that back bend here. 2 more deep breaths. And then bringing your fingers to the floor, extend your front knee and relax your head. One more breath here. And then hop your back foot to meet your front foot, forward fold. Good, bending the knees, hands to the floor, step the right foot back to a low lunge, knee touches the floor, untuck the toes. Okay, so one hand at a time, we're coming up and pressing the chest away. And if your back is very flexible, you might be able to even open the arms up here to deepen the back bend. That's up to you. Remembering to just completely let your head go. One more deep breath. And then hands come to the floor on the fingertips. And we'll take runner stretch just to counter the back bend. One more breath. Good, and then you can rebend that front knee, come onto your back toes, straighten the back knee, one hand at a time, pressing on the knee, lift your chest, and then you can stay here, pushing through that back foot, or bring the arms up. And as you're in your high lunge, try to sink your hips as low as you comfortably can. Keep your chest lifted and your ribcage lifted as you lean back. Any hand variation that's comfortable for you. Relax your head. One more deep breath. And then we'll take the fingers down to the floor again. Straighten your front knee. One more deep breath. Good. Hop your back foot to the front foot and forward fold. Bending your knees, hands on the floor, step or jump back to plank. Lower your body all the way onto the floor, untuck your toes, bring your ankles together, interlace your hands behind the back. Looking forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together and straighten the arms. Take a deep breath in, lift just your chest, keep your tops of your toes on the floor. And we'll take a few deep breaths here. One more deep breath. And then you can lower down, placing your chin or forehead on the floor. Relax your shoulders. We're going to do that again, this time with the legs. So squeeze your legs together, keep your ankles as close as they can. And then your next inhale, lift everything up. And you might feel a little tightness or squeezing in your low back here, that's okay. One more deep breath here. And then again, relax your shoulders. Bending your right knee. Reach for the inside of the right ankle. You can either keep your palm face down at a 45-degree angle, Or if you'd like extra support, you can bring the forearm perpendicular to you. Okay, so we're going to inhale for a half bow. So whatever you're comfortable with, you can either lift up this way, or you can use your forearm as a prop to get a little bit higher. One more deep breath here. Very gently let go of the ankle. And then we'll place both palms face down, turn your cheek to one side. And just take some deep breaths into the back of your body. Just letting your spine reset. And then turn your head the other way. And then looking forward, bending the left knee, taking any arm variation that works for you, reaching for the inside of the ankle, inhale, lifting up.
Oh, this one's tighter.
And again, just a reminder, you never want to force yourself deeper into a back bend. If you feel any tightness,
I feel like a lot of tightness in the front of my
shoulder,
thigh and my hip, actually.
That's good. If you feel tightness there, that's a good thing. Back bends do stretch the front of your body, and they actually contract your lower back, so we're working those lower back muscles right now. Gently release the ankle. Very good. Hands come under your shoulders. Press back, child's pose. You can take wide knees or close knees, whatever feels better. And from here, we're going to come into a child's pose variation called Bali Seal. So reach around for your heels. Bring your head as close to your knees as you can, coming onto the top of your head. And then slowly begin to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And then from here, scoot your knees as close to your forehead as you can. Your chin should be locked into your chest. My forehead is touching my knees, but you just want to think about bringing your head in that direction. And I'm pulling on my heels to just stretch out my back here. One more deep breath. I'm like breathing inside my shirt right now. And then return your hips to the heels and relax the head back into a regular child's pose. Good, bringing the arms forward. We'll tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And we'll take our scorpion down dog again. Right leg comes up, bend the knee, and then slowly begin to open the hip as far as you can before you feel like falling. Exhale, squaring the hips. And we'll switch. Opposite leg comes all the way up. Bend at the knee. Open it up. Good. Squaring the hips. Bring it back down. Floating into plank. And then lower all the way down. Okay. So we're going to take our full boat here. So you bending your knees, and if you can't comfortably reach both of your ankles, just interlace your hands behind your back, okay? So we're looking forward, reaching ideally for the inside of the ankles. And on your next inhale, lifting up for 5 deep breaths. Good, slowly lowering down, hands come underneath your shoulders, press back to child's pose. I usually don't put a lot of child's poses in my routines, except for today.
It's like a counter stretch, right?
Yeah, it's very important. Good, downward facing dog. Right leg comes up for your scorpion. Good, closing the angle, and we'll switch. Opposite leg stretches all the way up first, then bend the knee. Good, closing the angle, feet to the floor, walk your hands back towards your feet, and relax your head. Good, slowly rolling up. Preparing for dancer pose, which is a balance pose, but it's also a back bend. So you're working both. So I'll show you from the side. If you're near a wall, feel free to use it to help you balance. Balance is not our focus today, but we're shifting your weight into the right foot and then reaching for the inside of the left ankle. Knees together. Your right arm comes up. Okay, so you might stay here, or with a slight bend in your standing leg, come forward. And then the back bend will come in when you kick that heel away from you. So if you need a wall in front of you, that's fine. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, with control, coming back. Releasing the ankle, shaking it out, and we'll switch. Okay, so shift your weight into the opposite foot. Reach for the inside of the ankle. Glue your knees together. Left arm lifts. Stabilize here first. Focus your eyes on a single point. And then when you're ready, take your time leaning forward, kicking your leg back, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Coming back to standing with control. Releasing, shaking it out. Good, feet come together. We'll bring the arms up, palms together. Baby back bend here for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, relax the hands down. Head is weightless here for 5, 1 more breath. Bending the knees, hands to the floor. Step the right foot back to a low lunge. Drop your back knee. Untuck the toes. And we'll take a lizard here. So both hands are inside the foot. You can stay upright or come down one forearm, maybe both. can stay here, or the optional back bend would be to bend this back knee. Right hand is perpendicular, turning the elbow in, and we're reaching for the ankle. So you don't have to crank on the ankle, we're just gently holding it, opening up the shoulder here towards the ceiling.
So it's not a submission?
Right, it's not a slicer or whatever.
It's not a submission on yourself?
A back slicer. Deep breaths. And then gently let the foot go. Hands come back down. And we'll take a pigeon here. Pigeon is a forward fold. So go ahead and scooch that foot across to the opposite hand. You can stay upright in a semi-back bend here, but if you want to take a forward bend to give your back a rest, go ahead. Keeping your hips nice and square here. Back leg nice and straight. One more deep breath. And then we'll slowly make your way back onto the palms. And we'll take an optional back bend here. So if it's too much, you can just, use your hands to help you back bend slightly, or we can reach for the ankle again. Again, if you have a belt at home that you're using, that'll help you reach your ankle, feel free to do that. I sometimes just use like a sock and hook it around. I don't need like an entire belt here. One more deep breath. Gently let it go. Good, top to toes. Downward facing dog, pedal it out. And then we'll bring the opposite foot forward right into our lizard. So one or both of your forearms come down. And you can stay here or bring the forearm perpendicular to you. Lift the chest, opening up the shoulder. If it's too much to reach for this ankle, you can leave the leg and just place your knuckles at your left hip and just focus on opening that shoulder up. If you're able to, see if you can reach the ankle. One more deep breath. Very good. Slowly letting the ankle go. Hands come to the floor. Scooch that foot to the opposite hand for your pigeon. You can either stay upright or rest the head. Relax your shoulders. One more deep breath here. And then slowly rolling up. Either just using your fingers or bend the back knee. Maybe you can reach the ankle.
You look yourself?
You're looking myself. I was just thinking that. I saw Yanni thinking it. Good. Slowly release the leg. Nice and slow. And then this time, we'll swing the back leg forward and extend the legs for a nice forward fold. And we're gonna place the hands on the knees, round the back, chin to chest. And I want to emphasize the chin to chest here because we're not stretching our legs, we're stretching our back here. So round your back like a C shape. You can even, this is really intense, you can clasp your hands behind the back of your head to help you maintain that C shape. Elbows pointing down. If that's too much, you can just rest your hands on your legs. And we're gonna hold here, bringing the head towards the knees as much as possible. If your hands are on your legs, you're sliding the hands down towards the ankles as much as possible, while maintaining that rounded shape, chin to the chest. One more deep breath. And then relax the head all the way back up. We're gonna come into some bridges on our back now. So we're gonna do a bunch of variations of bridges. A basic bridge, a medium bridge, and then the full wheel. If your back is particularly tight, then you stay with the fundamental bridge, which we use in jiu-jitsu all the time. So the first step is going to be bringing your heels and hips nice and close together, and then roll onto your back. Okay. You should be able to graze your heels with your fingers. Inhale, lift your hips up as high as you can, and then see if you can bring your hands together underneath your back. And see if you can lift up onto your shoulders a little bit so that they scooch together a little more. Elbows drawing into each other. Oh,
What's up, Greg?
Gregory.
Hey, what's up?
Joining in for some yoga?
Did you know Greg was coming?
No, he must have just saw us.
Nice. Good, keep actively pushing the hips up, digging into the heels. One more deep breath here. And then very slowly lower your back down onto the mat. And just windshield wiper your knees back and forth to massage your low back. How's it going, Greg?
Good, how you doing, Lauren?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
Better than I thought.
can't complain.
Yeah. Alright, so bridge number 2. You can either repeat the same thing we just did, or you can choose to bring the arms overhead. And that's going to be a little harder because typically when we bridge, we use the arms to help us, right? So it's not just your glutes that's lifting you or your low back, it's the arms pressing into the floor. So if you want to isolate those muscles, just extend your arms overhead, or you could take Americana arms, and then go ahead again and lift the hips up as high as you can. Deep breaths. One more deep breath here. Very slowly lowering. And we'll windshield wiper the knees again. Hug your knees into your chest. Nice and tight, elbows in close. You can rock a little bit, you can make circles with your knees to massage that low back. Okay, and then we'll take our final bridge, which will be the wheel. And again, if that's something you're not feeling today, then you just repeat variation 1 or 2 of the bridge that we just did. So the first step, I'll show you first and then we'll do it together. First step is going to be aligning your palms with the ears, fingers facing your shoulders. And you might opt to take the bridge this way, just like this instead, just to work on your shoulder flexibility here if you can't come into the full one. Step number 2 is going to be pressing into your palms and lifting onto the crown of the head. And you might choose to just stay here. If you're able to and you have the shoulder flexibility, you can press into the palms and straighten your arms. We're going to be holding here for 5 deep breaths. If you choose to do this, when it's time to come out, tuck your chin into the chest and roll very slowly back onto the floor. Okay, so any of those hand variations work. Make sure that your heels are nice and close. If you're taking the hand variation, align the fingers facing the shoulders. Lift up just like a regular bridge first, and then press into the hands. Come onto the crown of the head. Maybe you can straighten from here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Go ahead and tuck your chin in. Very slowly rolling down.
Ooh.
And hug those knees in. Good job, Yanni.
I was submitting myself again.
He backbarred himself.
Lauren was heel hooking herself before.
Yeah, Greg, you missed it.
Really?
Yeah.
She's like, if you reach back and heel hook yourself, but don't tap like a bitch.
Aren't you live? I thought this was a family-friendly show.
Sorry.
This is Aiden.
This is Aiden. He's got way worse language.
Yeah. Write that down. It's allowed in class now.
Oh, good. So we're gonna keep in like a tight little ball here and bring your head up into the knees, and we're just gonna roll like a ball. You can hold the back of the knees or the front of the knees just to massage your low back. And then we'll roll up to a seated position, crisscross the legs, and fold forward from here just to stretch the back out. Very good. Slowly coming up. So our last major back bend is going to be the camel pose. I'm going to show you the camel pose and then we'll do it together. So as I was saying at the beginning of class, it's important to make sure that your hips stay over the knees. What usually happens when we back bend is the hips come with us and then we have the sensation that we're falling backwards. But we're forward beings, so we want to counteract the back bend with the forward movement of the hips. If you're back bending and you feel the hips starting to follow you backwards, that's when you know it's time to stop and just hold the back bend where you are. You might consider tucking your toes for this because we're going to be reaching back for the feet. So if it's easier for you to reach the feet while they're elevated, you can do that. More advanced, you keep the toes down. Okay, so we can start all with the toes tucked, and then you can always let them go down later. So we place the hands on the low back like you're placing them in your back pockets. Okay, and then lift up through your rib cage as high as you can, like someone's pulling you up by a string. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and look up. Let your traps catch your head like a little pillow. Alright, so your neck should be relaxed. Keep pushing the hips forward, and we're not going to touch the heels just yet. We're just going to hang out here with the hands on the back. And then exhale, return the back, chin comes back down. Alright, so we're going to do that 2 more times. On the 3rd time, we're going to reach for the heels. All right, so one more time, just like that. See if you can get a little bit deeper into the back bend. Maybe you can start to see the wall behind you. All right, so lift up from the rib cage, push your hips forward more than you think. The more you push your hips forward, the deeper your back bend will be. If your low back starts to feel compressed, lift up through your rib cage. One more deep breath. And exhale. Back to normal. All right, so we're just going to untuck the toes and take a child's pose before our third rep here. Deep breaths into your back. One more deep breath here. And then slowly come back to stand on the knees. It's important to make sure that your knees are hip width apart. All right, so tucking the toes. You can always flatten them later if the back bend is easy. Hands on the low back. Lifting up to your rib cage. Push your hips forward. Let your head fall back. If you can see the wall behind you, reach your one hand down to the ankle or the heel. If that's comfortable, then you can reach for the second heel. If it's not comfortable, you can just stay with one heel touching.
I can touch my calf.
You can touch your calves. Keep lifting up to your rib cage. One more deep breath. When it's time to come out, one hand at a time back to your low back. Untuck your toes if they're tucked. Child's pose. That's a deep one. Deep breaths, filling up your lungs on the back of your body. Feel your rib cage expanding as you inhale on the back. Good. Spread your fingers, and we're gonna just roll onto the head here and get a little neck stretch. Just bringing the chin in towards the chest. And you could play with the angle here. Maybe you wanna take it to the side a little bit. Roll the head in any way that feels good. Very good, and then we'll slowly come up. All right, so let's just bring the hips to the side and swing the feet forward. And just take a nice forward fold here. All right, so we're gonna hold this for 10 deep breaths. Again, like I said, we're not focusing on stretching the legs, we're stretching out our back. So I want you to think about rounding your back. You can place the hands there if necessary. Chin towards the chest for 10 deep breaths. Slowly coming off, we'll take the legs into a crisscross position, and we'll just roll the shoulders out.
Someone earlier wrote pretzels all day. I'm not sure if that means eating pretzels or
Probably not eating pretzels.
body pretzels.
Who was it?
I don't know. I don't know who this person is. Skyhopper.
Skyhopper. I feel like we always have like random people we don't know on the yoga one. Unless they're using a
I know.
name
No one
we don't
ever.
recognize.
No one outside of the jiu-jitsu community joins the other ones.
And then we'll roll the head. Switch the rotation. you go. Good, and then we'll turn the head all the way to the right. Use your hand to just gently turn the head down towards the armpit. If you want to increase the stretch, you can bend the opposite hand behind you, knuckles touching the back, rolling that shoulder back behind you. Gently release the head, and we'll switch. So bend the elbow, knuckles touching the back, roll the shoulder back first, turn the head away, and then look down, nose to the armpit. Very good, and we are good for back bends. Thank you for joining us, and sorry about the technical issues at the beginning of the
Yeah, we
stream.
had technical issues, unfortunately. Looks like we had a good crew today. We finished with 6 viewers, a little bit more
Nice.
than we usually do.
Awesome.
Did Aiden stick around? Did you
Probably
hear?
not.
Did you hear my body language? Although it was a direct quote from Lauren, so.
Supposedly. Next week we're gonna do shoulder flexibility.
Ooh, shoulder flexors.
Yes.
Excellent.
So stay tuned.
Oh yeah, Aiden's still there. He's clapping. Hi.
Hi, I'm impressed that he stayed for the whole thing.
Aiden, were you able to do like some of the back? He can do the back bends, no
oh
problem.
yeah, I
He's
bet.
so
It's like
flexible.
Gumby.
I know. He has a good bridge too. I know. I'm like my bridge is very weak. I never bridge anyone. I only shrimp.
Me too, honestly. I hate bridging people off me. I'd rather just wait for them to move.
Yeah, it's like, would you please get off me?
Oh
An
man.
hour of back bends.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So let me see. Yeah, definitely. Also, guys, check out Ed and Dave on the podcast. I'm gonna be a guest, I think, in a few weeks. So make sure you're subscribed to them as well. It should be very informative when I'm on there.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks guys. See you
See
next
you guys
week.
next time.